everyone, and welcome to the first presentation of Computer Applications ICSE. In this video, we are going to be discussing about some of the most fundamental and basic terms in computer applications, which are object, abstraction, and encapsulation. Now, in exams, the questions related to these terms will most probably ask you for their definition or some examples along with the definition of these terms. So let's get into it. The first term, object, it's a very common term, and the definition is this: an object is an entity having a specific identity, specific characteristics, and specific behavior. So pretty simple definition, and you can easy to memorize, and you can even write it in your own words once you are once you have understood clearly what an object is. So let's take a look at an example of what an object is. So the first example of an object is a car. We have Lightning McQueen over here, and its characteristics are wheels, horn, steering wheel, doors. So these are the characteristics which we will find in almost any car. So these are the most common features and characteristics of our object car. So, and the behavior of our object car is that is moving. It can move forwards and backwards or turning. We have Lightning McQueen again. This time he is drifting. So the behavior can be drifting, turning left, right, or moving forwards and or backwards. So let's take a look at another example of what an object is. Us, you and I as human beings are great examples of an object. Our characteristics are eyes, ears, hands, legs, some of the most common characteristics in human beings. And our behavior can vary from dancing to singing, running, and gaming. And I've got some animations over here depicting those behaviors. And our specific identities are our names. So for example, my name is Pranav, and that is my specific identity. So those were some of the examples for objects, and let's take a look at the next term, which is abstraction. Abstraction is the act of displaying essential features without including the background details or explanation. So this is a very cool feature, and it's very easy to remember as well. You can again, you can write this definition in your own words in exam once you've understood and are confident about this term. So let's take an example of abstraction. I'm pretty sure you must have understood what abstraction means just by reading this definition over here. So the first example is a calculator. So let me get my calculator over here. So let's see. Let's take E, or maybe let's take pi, and raise this value of pi to a value, let's say 7. So we get this value as 3020 point something something something, which is the value of pi raised to 7. And what we get over here is the final result of this expression. So we don't get to see what happened in the background, how the computer calculated this value. It might have calculated pi squared into pi raised to 5, or pi raised to 3 into pi raised to 4, whatever combination which gives us this value. Or let's take another example. Let's take 20, and let's find the sine of 20. So we get this as 0.34202 something something. So this is the sine of 20, and we don't get to see the background process of how our computer calculates this value. We don't know the rules or any procedure which it follows. So we just get the necessary essential information, which is this value. So that is an example of what abstraction is. It just gives us the essential information without including the background details or explanations. Let's take another look at, okay, before that we have this summary of what just happened in that process. So we entered numbers and command, which was our input, and we could see that because we just did that. And the next step is that our computer converts those numbers and commands into binary, which it can understand. Then it computes, it understands what you are asking it to do, and it carries out that function. Then it arrives at a result, and then it converts that result into numbers. So that result is still in binary, and it converts it into numbers which we can understand. So then it displays that result in numbers. So all of this text which is in pink, the lighter color, we cannot see that. It is hidden from us, and it is not essential because we just need the final result, which is displaying of a number, the final value. And the darker the steps which are in the darker color are the steps which we can see. So these steps are not hidden from us. So let's take another example, switching on and off of a light bulb. So this is a GIF or GIF, however you prefer saying it, of a circuit, a simple circuit. It's a very basic one. The switch over here is open, so the circuit is broken and no current flows through the circuit. But once we switch it on, the circuit gets completed and current flows through it, and the bulb glows. So the background process of this is this current flows through a wire, and we don't get to see which wire or the path of the wire. So we don't get to see where the wire is going. We just see that the switch was in the on position and the bulb started glowing after we switched it on. So that all of the background process, there might be any instrument like ammeter or a fuse in the circuit which we do not see, and we just get the final result. So this is an example of abstraction. This GIF again. Yeah, so next term which we have is encapsulation, the wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit is called encapsulation. So in this process, all of the data is wrapped up into a single unit, and it is protected or hidden from anyone who does not have the authority to access this information. So let's take a look at the example of encapsulation. A bank. So banks probably do this every day. They have information about you from your name to your account number, your locker number, your account balance, and they wrap all of this information into a single unit, and this information is protected from anyone who does not have the proper authority to access this information. Another example of encapsulation is, let's imagine you are working at Google, and Google will have all of your information from your name to your address to your contact numbers, and this information will be wrapped up into a single file, or and this information will not be accessible to anyone but a few who are qualified to access this information, maybe the police. And this is a very great example of encapsulation. So let's take a look at the summary or all of the definitions of the three terms which we discussed about. An object is an entity having a specific identity, specific characteristics, and specific behavior. Abstraction is the act of displaying essential features without including the background details or explanations. The wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit is called encapsulation. So you can either memorize these definitions, or you can even write these in your own words, because ICSE is pretty flexible and generous. If you have written the definition sensibly, you will be rewarded the required marks. So that was about this module, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and stay awesome.